You ever try to read one email and suddenly you're 3 hours deep in Wikipedia researching medieval sewage systems? Well, you got 3 tabs open for some amazing shoes that you just can't afford and a quiz titled, "What kind of cheese are you?" That's not quirky curiosity. That is literally sustained attention dysfunction. And today, we're going to drag this out into the light and beat it to death. Welcome back to the Salty Goddess Podcast. Happy hump day, y'all. This is your midweek guilty pleasure where executive dysfunction gets the public shaming it deserves and the compassion that it rarely receives. I'm Margaret Perry, the Salty Goddess. And today we're sinking our claws into sustained attention dysfunction, also maybe known as, why the hell can't I just finish one thing ever? So, if your brain feels like a raccoon in a rave club, this one, it just might be for you. And I'm here to give it to you. So let's get clinical for a second. I promise I'm not going to wear my white coat or, dump jargon all over you this morning. But what exactly in the hell is sustained attention dysfunction? It is the inability to hold your focus on a task over time. It's not really being distractible, but this is actually a neurocognitive dysfunction. It's a disruption. Your brain is supposed to filter distractions and stay on target. But when that mechanism short circuits, you start 12 different things at the same time, you finish none of them, and the next thing you know, it's midnight. Your laundry is still in the washing machine. The dishes aren't done. You haven't even cleared the table yet. This is sustained attention dysfunction. Now, this doesn't just happen when you have boring tasks. Nope. You could literally hyperfocus on TikTok until your eyes bleed. But try reading a policy update, finishing your CEUs, your soul exits the chat immediately. So here's the root. Our brains love novelty, dopamine, and movement. Sustained attention requires repetition, patience, and quiet focus. It's like asking a hummingbird to sit still and knit. So in brains with ADHD, with burnout, with trauma, with dysregulation, this function is compromised. You don't just get distracted. You lose the ability to stay focused, to stay present, to stay in the moment, to stay on task. So how do you think that's going to affect anything that you do if you cannot stay focused? Anything from housework to reading a book to work in any project that you should be heads down on, getting finished, but you cannot stay focused. This is where we're at. So that is what sustained attention dysfunction is like. Hopefully, this isn't happening every single day of the week for you, but it could be. It could very well be. And so you're not going to meet deadlines. You're going to disappoint your partner who's asked you to do a load of laundry when something important is in that laundry and needs to be done for them. And they're fully expecting that when you said yes and agreed to take on the task, it's going to be done, and it's not. So you see how that can cause a little bit of friction? So what does it look like in the wild? I'm going to paint you this real life shit show. You're going to sit down to write an email, and 2 hours later, you found out that you redesigned your Linktree, cleared your inbox, ordered 6 new pens. But that email that needed a response, it's going to remain read, but untouched, unresponded to, unanswered. You try to listen to someone speak, and your brain just slides off their words like an egg on Teflon. When you're reading that book, you're going to keep rereading that same paragraph because none of it is going to stick. You're going to read it, reread it, and reread it. And you're going to say to yourself, what the hell did I just read? Didn't I just read this? You literally cannot remember what you were doing 15 seconds ago. So you start something else again. As an example, yesterday I went to text one of my kids. I first asked, hey, what are you doing tomorrow? She answered me, and by the time she answered me, which was literally within 30 to 45 seconds, I couldn't remember what I wanted to ask her. And right now, the next day, I still can't remember. You're not the only one that deals with sustained attention dysfunction. It happens to a lot of us. It happens in different ways. Yesterday was definitely one of those days for me. It was one of those days. So this is what it looks like. It's verbal zoning out. So someone's talking, you smile, you nod, but your brain is somewhere halfway across the world thinking about something else. Okay, so you're in fantasy land, right? Fantasy Island. So it's a mental tab overload, if you will. There's too many open thoughts, and you really just cannot focus on any of them at all. It's task hopping. You start that laundry, you see dirty dishes, you start the dishes. You need a sponge. You end up in Target. Laundry? Well, it's dead to you. You've completely forgotten that you started the load. You never switch it over into the dryer, and it doesn't get done. You feel physically, it shows up as feeling uncomfortable trying to stay on one task. That's a bonus red flag right there for you. All right? So what is the fallout from this? It's the quiet destruction that dysfunction causes. Because it's not just inconvenient, it's debilitating. So if you have incomplete tasks, that means you get zero reward loop. Remember, when you complete a task, you get a dopamine spike. And then if you don't finish the task, there's no dopamine. And then your brain starts to crave avoidance instead of effort. Remember task initiation delay? There, you're starting to see this cycle. One executive dysfunction is going to feed into the other. And you can go right off the rails with this. You begin to lose trust in yourself and in your ability to do your job, to be a good partner, to be a great parent. All right. This is what you're thinking to yourself. If I can't even read an article, if I cannot return a text, if I cannot respond to an email, what the hell is wrong with me? That inner dialogue turns poisonous very, very quickly. Very quickly. And remember, how you speak to yourself internally is extremely important These are your intrinsic motivators or demotivators. So negative speak or doubt, that's soul crushing. That's confidence killing. That's not where we want to be. So in your relationships, it causes strain. You'll miss details, important details. You'll forget things that matter. You'll space out during important moments. And when someone revisits those moments, you're going to have no clue as to what happened. And those individuals are going to be like, well, where the hell were you? Are you in this life with me or are you not? What's happening with you? So people feel that. And even though your intentions are good, bitch, please, intentions are great, but actions, and if you can recognize that you're having one of those days and an important conversation is about to take place, maybe it's best to say, hey, sweetheart, I'm having one of them focus days. We may want to record this. We may want to take notes. We may want to have it tomorrow if I'm having a better day. And maybe your day started out great. You're full of energy, full of positive speak, full of that intrinsic motivation. And by noon, something has gone off the rails. So maybe your morning was phenomenal, but your evening is going to just be a total shit show filled with fuckery. It can happen. All right. But being able to recognize and not use it as an excuse. Y'all know how I feel about that. Please do not use this as an excuse for having shitty performance, for being shitty and not being present, but acknowledging and recognizing and trying to pull yourself out of it or to do better, to be better. Those are important things. You cannot use this as the rationale for why day after day after day you're not meeting a standard. Y'all know how I feel about that. Acknowledging, recognizing, understanding, yes. But don't use that as your cop-out, your fallback, your excuse. I've got no ability to process that crap. It is no different than having substance use disorder and acknowledging it, but never doing anything about it. Okay? That's unacceptable. Period. Okay? So, what this can also do for you, though, is cause you to have chronic stress. Do you think when your boss emails you and says, I emailed you 3 times in the last week and I've heard nothing, you think that's going to be stressful? Do you think that when your spouse, your partner says to you, the hell? I've asked you 3 days in a row while you've been home and I've been gone. Could you do X, Y, Z? It doesn't matter what it is. You acknowledge, you accept, and then you fail to follow through. So there's chronic stress. That chronic stress causes cortisol levels to go up. It affects your sleep. It affects your appetite. It affects your ability to lose weight. Don't mean to get too clinical here, but yeah, high cortisol levels mean you're not functioning where you belong. And this can cause burnout. When nothing gets finished on your to-do list, that list becomes a shame list, a to-shame list. You constantly feel behind. It feeds anxiety. It feeds shutdown. This is just a vicious cycle. Who the hell would not want to break out of that cycle? You start believing the lie that you're lazy or that you're incompetent. Because understand that other individuals who don't function or dysfunction the same as you, they do not understand what you're going through. So those are the first thoughts that come to mind for individuals, especially individuals who don't get it, don't understand, and just have this black and white belief system. Okay? We're going to go back to that. You've heard me talk about this in prior episodes. Having a black and white belief system beyond the age of 35 is asinine. And I'll bring you right back to it. You once believed in Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, the Tooth Fairy. Guess what? When you were told those individuals did not really hump down that chimney, hop into your living room, or float through the air to leave you a gift, y'all understood that's all right. So I know you can adopt new knowledge. I know you can. So black and white thought processes don't belong once you're a real adult. And no, you're not really a real adult until you're like 35 and you can start to understand that stuff. Okay, so let's get with it. Stop wasting time, your most valuable currency. You'll hear me say this. I probably say it ad nauseum weekly, okay? You start believing that lie. You're not lazy. You're not incompetent. You have a dysfunction, and like any situation that is not functioning to full optimization needs a plan. Okay? It's just that your attention, your focus, it leaks away. And you haven't been taught the coping skills or the mechanisms or the protocol, the policy, the procedure on how to patch it, how to correct course. Does that make you less than? No. But understanding that you have a dysfunction and doing nothing about it, or using excuses for the behavior, for the dysfunction, that's just wrong. It's just ridiculous. Okay? So you've got to learn real solutions. You got to get real solutions. And real solutions, listen, don't require you to burn sage or to buy a $900 productivity journal. I can sell you one. Go over to the Salt Vault on my website and you're going to start to see some products available. You're welcome to buy $900 worth of shit. But if you never open the damn book, if you never set up a protocol, a policy, a procedure, a workflow, it's not going to do a damn thing for you but look pretty on your table. I do make pretty journal covers, by the way. Okay? Real colorful, gorgeous. All right? But that's not what you need. You need literally a dopamine-driven, time-based focus plan. All right, so let's get to it. Let's fix this like the salty adults that we are. So you can use different methods, like set a timer on your phone, okay, so that it goes off with an alarm, or get one of them old school egg timers that when it gets to the end, it goes, rings real loud, okay? My toaster in my kitchen has a timer. And when it ends, it goes ding, real soft and gentle. What? I'm the type of person I need you to say, Anne Margaret, your toast is done. Remove it from the toaster. And it needs to do that every 30 seconds until I come over and shut it off and get the toast. Or whatever's in the toaster. Eggo, waffle, whatever. Okay? Listen, if that's what you need, 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off. When you've done that, after about 4 rounds, take a little bit of a longer break. I actually use a 15-minute rule. There are some items that I do have to block for longer than 15 minutes because it takes longer, i.e., recording this podcast takes 3 15-minute blocks. All right? That makes sense. It's a 30-minute episode. I have to set up the recording. I have to set up lighting. I have to set up all these different things. That's about 15 minutes. All right? And then when I'm done, I have post-production. So I have to block those times out. After I record, I don't get directly into post-production work. I get up, take a walk real quick, grab another bottle of water, get back to it. This helps you reset and refocus. But you do have to reward yourself. That quick walk from one end of my office building back to the other, that's my reward. I know that when I've hit the front of the building and then head back, I accomplished something on my list. It may not feel like it's a reward because you don't understand how those neurotransmitters are being secreted in your brain. But I promise you, that's exactly what it is. It's a dopamine hit. So maybe you need to make it satisfying, like salty and satisfying. You get to turn on some loud music, maybe. Maybe you get to dance around a little bit. I don't know, something great. So set your focus, right? And if you do it that first round, maybe you get to scroll memes. Or maybe you get, a sea salt dark chocolate square from Ghirardelli. It's only 80 calories. 80 calories, my friends. I can have 3 of those a day. All right. Maybe you get to scroll memes while you're walking or on your break in the bathroom. I really don't think you should take your phone in the bathroom. It's kind of gross, but that's, just my opinion. All right. So you want to have body first interruptions. What does that mean? Set recurring timers to move. My watch does it. Bitch, my watch is funny, and I know it's not trying to be. Okay? Stand, stretch. Maybe you do squats or 10 push-ups if you're real spicy. But physical movement gives you a mental reboot to refocus. All right? My watch will tell me this one. I so sedentary that when I went to the Charlotte Douglas Airport recently, my watch said to me, because I have a smartwatch, it said to me, "You're going to crush your goals today. Look at you moving." What? All right, that's not funny. Yeah, I had to go all the way to E, right? That's not funny. That was a lot of steps. If I stand up from my desk and I move around a little bit, it asks me, "Will you reach your 10,000 step goal today?" Who set that goal? That watch set the goal. I didn't set that goal. My watch thinks it's funny. Thinks it's real funny. It's not funny. All right? So set recurring timers to move. That movement will help to reset your focus. Use a notepad, a sticky notepad even, right? Like a "what the fuck was I doing" pad or something. Dump your intrusive thoughts in there. It's like your attention parking lot, if you will. You're not ignoring those thoughts, but you're delaying them with purpose. You could also call it your bright idea pad or something. Okay? Those are important. This helps also to reset. But you're going to delay them, delay thinking about them, even if they those intrusive thoughts pop into your head. Delay thinking about them. Maybe you're like me on a Saturday morning when all I could think about was Mexican food. And I was like, I wish there were more Mexican food places close by one that would, I could have door delivery, but there's not. I live in rural Lancaster, South Carolina, and honestly, there's no place that really will Grubhub or DoorDash to my place because we're too rural. And all I could think about was this Mexican food. I literally was like, I could open a food truck. It could be a Mexican food truck. I could call it, given my EMS background and my medical background, my ED nursing stuff, in queso emergency. I thought it was funny. I was literally buying domain names and building an entire business case because all I could think about was in queso emergency. I was supposed to be working. And all I could think about was nacho cheese and tacos, salsa. What? So when that type of intrusive thought comes in, when you're in the middle of a project, call it your distraction parking lot and just write it down, return to it and go, what the heck was that about? A day later, you'll be looking at that going, what kind of morning was I having? A couple weeks later, I was having the same issue with cheesecake. I realized what was going on. And I said, Aunt Margaret, you got to stop. You got work to do. All right. Kill task switching. Close your tabs. If those tabs are open on your computer and they have nothing to do with your present project, turn them off. Turn them off. Use focus mode, full screen. There's apps like, Cold Turkey. You don't need 8,000 tabs open. And I will tell you, I am guilty of this. Friends, if any of you have seen the Salty Goddess Command Center, you know that I have 2 desktops and 12 43-inch monitors in that office. I've also got 4 phones, 3 tablets, and a laptop. I have it all in there. I am guilty of having 40 tabs open on every screen. All right? That's not going to help you unless you learn to ignore them. And you're not going to learn to ignore them until you've handled this dysfunction and gotten your protocol in place, your policy and procedure in place, your coping mechanism to handle it. Okay? You need to work on that one task. Multitasking is just a sexy, C-suite co-branding, if you will, for dysfunction. Because you think you're multitasking, but the truth is you're doing each task really shitty because you're not giving it your full attention. Multitasking is a lie. The lie. Okay? To also help with this, let's make a scoreboard. Track tasks that you're done per hour. Give yourself points on each focus round, if you will. Compete against yesterday's version of yourself. Compete against this morning's version of yourself. You will be amazed what your brain will do for you when it thinks it's in competition and it's received that reinforcement that it's actually winning. Okay? Use auditory or physical cues between your tasks. So cue transitions. Use a bell. Walk outside, like I said. Use the ladies' room, men's room, whatever. Okay? Trains need tracks. So your brain needs cues so that it knows when to switch tasks. All right? So let's call this dysfunction exactly what it is. Sustained attention dysfunction is a silent saboteur. It doesn't scream, but it robs your time, your energy, and trust in yourself drop by drop. And what do we do with burglars? Well, here in the South, it's open carry. So I suggest that you figuratively do the exact same thing. So, my Salt Squad, here's your call to action. Pick one of these tactics that I shared with you today. Use it for 5 days. Don't expect perfection. It will come. It will come. All right? Join me in this conversation. Message me or tag, at the Salty Goddess with your chaos logs, your focus wins, or even your meltdowns, your meltdown memes. All right? We're going to be putting a WTF was I doing daily tracker in the Salt Vault here soon. All right? It'll be free for you to download. All right? Because the truth is, you're not really a mess. We're all a mess, really, if you're going to put it that way. You're just some untamed brilliance that needs some scaffolding. So, my friends, listen. I'm Margaret Perry, the Salty Goddess. I'll see you actually this week. I think we're going to drop a few more episodes to finish out the Dysfunctional 8. So you might see 2 more episodes drop this week. We're going to talk about working memory dysfunction and a couple of other things. Until then, take no shit, finish your shit, and don't forget to move your body, close down those tabs, and start to implement some of your coping mechanisms to absolutely slay your focus, right? Get rid of that dysfunction as best you can. Happy hump day, y'all, and we'll see you soon. Stay salty and savage.